It's time for What's Your Favorite on the WDW Reflections Podcast. Featuring our very special guest, Disney author Trisha Daab.
This is a little thing we like to call What's Your Favorite? Each week, one of our hosts bring with them a question to ask the other two guys. But something exciting, we have a guest with us today. So Trisha is going to participate in What's Your Favorite today too. So I'm very excited about this. So the two hosts and our guest, Trisha, have no idea about the question that's coming up. None of us know. At the time of recording, only the host bringing the question knows what's coming up. So this week, Tony has control of the What's Your Favorite question. So Tony, Ron and Dewey and Trisha, we are ready for the What's Your Favorite question. What do you have in store for us today, buddy?
All right, we've got a special treat, especially since Trisha is the author of Tasting the Magic from A to Z. I thought it would make sense to tailor this question toward that. And I'd like to know, what's your favorite? In-park dining or resort dining? And if you have a favorite, which of those? Which place is it?
Oh, am I answering first?
We are going to, ladies first, guest first. We're going to lay out all the red carpet, all the good manners for you, Trisha.
Okay, so this one is actually surprisingly easy for me. There are so many, but Sanaa at Kidani Village at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you will not get a more magical view than you get there. The first time we ate there, we really had no idea. We knew like, oh, it's on the savannah, but like it was like, no, that giraffe walking by is real, like straight up real. Zebras walk by. The food is incredible. The cast members are so passionate. A lot of them are from Africa. So definitely look at the cast members' name badge, see where they're from, ask them questions. What's your favorite thing in the menu? And they have, to me, what is one of the single best dishes at Disney World, and that's the butter chicken with naan. So naan is a type of bread that's usually served with Indian food. So Sanaa has a lot of like Indian inspired flavors, and the butter chicken it's just so good. It is. I've taken multiple people to Sanaa, like, you need to try the butter chicken. And they're like, yes. So it is, especially for foodies, like it is one of those dishes that people really love. And there's so much great about Sanaa. The seating area is beautiful. The detail and the decorations are gorgeous. The light fixtures. I mean, it's so delicious. And it has just, it like hits on all points. The ambiance is great. Food's amazing. Cast members are great. So definitely, without question, I have to go Sanaa.
And so you prefer resort dining?
I don't prefer resort dining. I just prefer Sanaa.
That one.
And the one tip that I always tell people, Sanaa is not in Animal Kingdom Lodge. So Kidani Village is like, I think about half a mile from Kidani Village. So if you get dropped off at Animal Kingdom Lodge, you're going to have to walk. Because, I think that you can get a bus between the two. It doesn't just go between the two, but you know, if you're getting on a park bus, you might be able to have it drop you at Kidani Village. It's really great, and make sure to take the time to go upstairs. There's some viewing areas in the upper part. Sanaa is kind of in the lower level of the resort, and there's rocking chairs that sit out in the savannah, and the animals go all day. I think there's an impression that, you know, come nightfall, the animals are all in. That's not necessarily true. So the animals will also come out at night too.
Very good. What about you, Ron?
Well, so this is a little more difficult for me, just because we've had several good experiences in both. And this past March, we had the opportunity to eat at California Grill. Had never been there. It was in celebration of our anniversary. And we got a table that overlooked Walt Disney World and the castle. And our waiter just was incredible. But then we also like to eat at Ohana's, which is an incredible experience. Also overlooks the castle, and we've actually eaten there when the fireworks are going off and they pipe in the soundtrack for the fireworks. But then I think about all the places that we've eaten on site or within the parks. Liberty
Tree.
Liberty Tree, and that was fun. We've eaten at Crystal Palace. So I've got Dewey. I've got a lot of experience eating in the resorts. LaSallier, Melissa's in the background throwing things out, which was incredible. We've only been there one time, but it's a very memorable experience in itself. So with all that out there, I think it's a difficult choice, but I think I'm going to go with the resorts because Ohana's and California Grill just was really great experience. I will say, and we had the chance to eat at a restaurant in Animal Kingdom. Boma, I think is the name of it. Not a fan. Most people love it, so don't. I've tried it, and I'm making this on a try basis, and the kids menu there is awesome. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh my.
Well, Dewey's losing it over there. I just want to say, Ron, actually, Boma is one of our favorite restaurants that we go to on a regular basis whenever we're down there, because I used to stay. Trish, it's been almost 10 years since I've been able to stay there. But I hope that Boma is still as good as it was when we used to go there. And it was fun to eat and experience that resort at the same time. It's got a lot of wonderful food of all different kinds of flavors, and it's really one of my favorite places to be. So I'm a resort person. We used to love stopping our Disney day and then heading to one of the resorts to eat something or another, everything from the yacht club to the Grand Floridian, whatever. We always loved eating at the resorts, especially during the dining plan days. But Dewey.
All right. So, okay. First of all, there's no way I could be friends with someone that doesn't like Boma. Like this, it's over, Ron. We're breaking up, dude.
Don't be like that.
So
that's what makes the world go round is our differences.
Except for when you disagree about Boma. I draw the line.
Walt would totally be with Ron. Walt would be with Ron.
Look, I'm kind of surprised. Everybody here so far has said resorts. Like talk about the resorts, and I'm going to make it unanimous. I agree, and that is not to mean that eating in the parks that there's not absolutely opportunities. My answer is going to be based on when I'm in the parks, and I always do set some time apart, or set some time aside to have a good meal or whatever. But there's always the pressure of, or at least there was, about, my Fast Pass is coming up at this time. So maybe the same thing, my Genie Plus is coming up at this time. So there's always that pressure to do other things. Some of my most fun, some of the times we have the most fun is when we don't plan a park day. We're planning a day that we just want to go see a place we've never been to before. And that's always a resort. I've never stayed at Port Orleans. But I've always heard about the Mickey beignets and stuff like that, So I remember a trip we just were like, hey, we're not doing anything today. Let's just go have a beignet over at Port Orleans. And that was super fun. We just explored a place I'd never been to before. And there was no pressure to watch the watch, no pressure to look at the watch and make that Fast Pass or anything. There was no schedule. And to me, that's some of the most magical stuff you can do, is not have to worry about a schedule, not have to worry about getting the most out of your day because you spent so much on that ticket. I love going and seeing those new places and trying something. I've had a beignet in New Orleans. I've had the real thing. So having a Mickey shaped beignet, first of all, it tastes just like the regular beignet in New Orleans. So that was cool. And Ron, to your point, you're absolutely wrong. Boma is amazing. Absolutely amazing. And Tony, don't worry. You said it's been 10 years since you've been there. We went the summer of 2019, which was, I guess, my last trip. And we went to Boma on that trip, and it just blew us away again. Every single time we go, it's amazing. Zebra domes are a gift from above. Love Zebra Dome. So I'm going resorts. Great food in the parks, but the resorts just have so much to offer that you don't always get to experience because you're always, go. So that's my vote.
I'd also say I think character meals at resorts, I always kind of recommend to folks, I think character meals at resorts are a little bit better. The characters tend to have a little bit more time, a little bit less pressure than some of the ones in the parks because the turnover is so fast. A friend of mine, one of the chefs I interviewed, worked at Liberty Tree Tavern, and he would talk about, I think they would go through like in a dinner, like 1,400 guests. If you think about like cooking for 1,400 people in like a 4 or 5 hour time period. I mean, that is so many people to turn over. And so you see that, I think, more in those in the parks, where at the resorts, I've had so many amazing character meal experiences where the characters just really got to take more time. The interactions are a little bit less. Come in, take a photo, sign something, leave, and it's because they, trying to get to everybody. So there's a totally justified reason, but I feel like in the resorts, there's just a little bit less of that, like Topolino Terrace with the breakfast a la art. I mean, the character costumes, the interactions, the stuff I've seen there. I mean, just amazing. We did storybook dining, the Snow White meal over at Artist Point at Wilderness Lodge. I mean, it's just so cool. And the food for that one is all themed too, which is awesome.
Excellent. So Tony, great question on what's your favorite this week. That was fun. And it was fun having Trisha along with us for the ride. So that was awesome. And that just about does it for this episode of the WDW Reflections podcast. We would first of all like to say and give a gigantic thank you to Trisha Daab for hanging out with us on this episode and bringing to us so much of her insight and her knowledge and her enthusiasm. Really, that was probably the best thing, was her enthusiasm. So Trisha, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me. I had a really fun time, and now I want to go eat. No. Thanks, Tony.
No problem.
To order a signed copy of one of Trisha's books, please reach out to her on Instagram at Not-So-Evil_Disney Stepmom. Her series is also available at Amazon.com. Listen to the complete show on your favorite podcast streamer. Follow us on social media at WDW Reflections Podcast. See you real soon. Tune in each week for a new episode of What's Your Favorite? Here on the WDW Reflections Podcast.